Good morning. How to double your salary, part 18. In the last episode, we talked about career building and how I got the best company and best designation, best salary, and followed by I had the fear whether I would get a better than the best. Okay, and how I went back to my specialization. See, in the career path, we have to, we have two ways. One is you be a specialist, whether it is, one field, technical or managerial, you take one path and then, and specialize on that career path. Or you be a generalist and then, get into the generalist one. So the both have got advantages and disadvantages. If you are a specialist, you will never be jobless, and people will be requiring you or your skills, special skills and expertise everywhere. But unfortunately, a specialist cannot reach the top of it of the organization because you need a generalist for the top of the organization. Unless you go to the higher in the organization, sometimes getting higher salaries is not easy. So what I did was I did both of generalization or and specialization. My first from refinery I went to a petrochemical job. Then again went back to refinery job as head of the process. But I was specializing in the process design and process, which helped me in long run to have a edge over many of the people. However, I also shifted to projects from the process, so which has given me ultimately higher opportunities in projects. So let's see how today how I get crashed into the interview. So I think in last interview I talked about uh, how I got into a job where the boss was not ready to take the interview, and but I will give you the background of it. So I went to a conference and where I met Mr. Campbell, and Campbell was vice president for a Bechtel, an engineering company, and he was about to start a mega project in Middle East for relocating three Canadian refineries. During the course of conference, I was, articulating something, and then Campbell was impressed. So he asked me, "Why don't you send your CV to me?" So I took it a little bit serious, and then asked him, "Is I don't have to send the CV to you; it is on your laptop." So he considered himself to be a good expert in computers at that time, and then he said, "How come you sent me your CV without my knowledge? Today morning I saw my uh, my email." So I told him, "Email you don't have to see it." Then at that time I think the Google was started around I think 92, around 96 we were talking about. And then I asked him, "Why don't you type my name?" So he typed my name, Rajsekhar Polapragada, and then popped up my profile with my presentations and as well as my CV. So he was really surprised because he was not familiar with that search engine and that kind of data which is available on that. Then several of my papers which are published in the international conferences came in also in that uh, search engine, this thing. So he was really impressed. He said, "Yeah, I think we need people like you to head our technical department." And that's how he asked me. He said, "On the way you go to London, you can meet me for an interview." And uh, then I didn't find anybody in the office, and then I had to you know use my little bit of harsh voice to get there. That I need some attention, and luckily somebody took my interview, and then I had a job, and then so it was a breakthrough. So the point what I'm telling is the career build up when you do, you are going back to specialization. That's what I was telling, though. It really helped me to go back to that integration of three Canadian refineries. It gave me tremendous experience in the simulations, and the plant was almost built over the simulations. Talking about 96 to 98, simulations were not very what do you call as popular in the world, but me and my team we worked very hard on that, and then we could get all the simulations, and that helped me to later on to get a job in a mega project in India. So where Gordon Clark, who knew about this project, was really impressed. He said, "Oh yeah, Raj, you worked on a Sharjah project, then we need you." That's how I got a job. So this is something which I thought I need to share with you for career building. So self-development and safe assignment. So because of that jump, my 15 years career goal smoothly shifted gear till 20 years. However, as the project had to be abandoned, I had to take a job which was safe, though it was temporary. It gave me a breathing time, after which I could get a big jump in India. Okay, what was that break? That I got it on Bapco refinery, where they were working on a project where they have uh, uh, modified the whole vacuum tower and then changed the different trays in the stabilizer and crew tower. So it was a major project for them, though it was compared to my Sharjah refinery project, it was very small. But then it helped me to work on projects. So uh, similarly, my daughter one day met me in the airport, and then she was complaining that, Daddy, I didn't see you for quite some time, and then you have been very busy. So I thought I'll take up a job which doesn't need my, a lot of efforts, and then that's how I moved from my Sharjah project to Bapco refinery, where the life was quite good. At the same time, of course, it is the same refinery project, so I didn't lose my experience. So that's how I planned my career. And there is one more thing about this mega project I want to say. The last two legs of my career were really big and good, and they are good because they were each time I got a big jump. Good because as you grow into the next level, so the last jump will be always tougher. So that's how I would say. Let's now talk about mega project. After a stint in Bapco refinery, where I got a project experience as well as stabled my what I call as my career, and where my daughter could complete her schooling, and then she just entered the engineering. So I again wanted to take up a mega project in India. Uh, and as both my Bapco refinery experience as well as the Sharjah refinery experience, both a refinery, I could easily get a job in SR Oil, which were looking for a 20 million tons, second largest refinery project in India. Uh, Garden, I met him in Dubai, and then we were discussing about how do we work on this project. So then I shared with him my experience in Sharjah project, where he knew our my Campbell, my ex-boss. Then he said, "Yeah, the project was banned, and I know, but as a head of the process, you have done an excellent job. So we have faith in you." And then he hired me there. Of course, I could get what I wanted as a remuneration, which again met my 25 years target without any big problem. So, thus I have come back to India. Very few people come back to India with the better salaries and better positions. So, in fact, it's easier, much easier for Indian to go abroad with a better salaries and better positions, and coming back again with higher salaries. It was one of my, I would say, achievements. But before that, I have to tell you something, that it's not that every job and every offer will be good. When you are doing career building, you have to see whether that matches your what do you call as temperament and your character or not. Exactly 10 years before I got this vice president job in the mega project, I was offered by their competitor a similar job, in fact, senior position, when they were working on a maiden refinery project. So I had experience of traveling their own chartered flight from Dubai to Bombay, Bombay to the project there, and then I met them, and then they offered me the job. What I understood was that somehow the culture there in the project was not to my liking. I'll tell you two incidents, then probably you'll know. When I just got down in the airport in their flight, I met the senior person there, HR guy, one Mr. Bhatt. He told me that no, I just asked casually asked him, we have so many engineers and experts with refinery in India, why you are taking from abroad? Then he said, most of the people in India, they try to throw the problems under the carpet. So that's why we don't want to hire from India. He said. I said, I don't problem. And then when I went there, I found one of our Shell ex colleagues, of course, my senior colleague, joined as an operation head there. And when I had a chat with him, and then I understood in less than 3 to 4 months after he joined, he was omitted from some serious meetings, very important meetings. Then he said the management style here is not to my liking, and I don't know if you join here how long you will stay. Now this statement coming from my, of course he is a uh, he's from Amsterdam, and he's a foreigner. Probably I would have survived in that industry, but a person who joined after 6 months back as operation head, he is not comfortable there. So I was wondering if I join as head of technical there, whether I would be, comfortable, safe there or not. It so happened I didn't take up the job. That position was taken by one of my friends, Mr. Karkar, and then when I talked to him later, he asked me, "Hey, I was told that you were offered this job and you didn't take it up. What is the problem with this?" I said, "You find out yourself." And then he had to resign. And later on, he explained to me that that company was not professional. So what I'm telling you, sometimes salary may be good, but if the company is not professional, we will not be able to plan our career. So this is a real big shocking news for me, though I don't take the credit for it. The credit should go to my brother. My brother, who is also in oil industry, Bharat Petroleum, cautioned me that not to join that company. And though the salary was good, everything was good, I didn't join that. And I waited for 10 more years to just join their competitor in the same position, of course with a higher salary, and I almost stayed for about 7 8 years to complete the project, and then it was a long innings for me. Though my what do you call it, return to India was delayed, but it was on a sound footing. So this is very important thing, I think I wanted to mention to you in the career building. Then you should see the when you jump from one boat to the other boat, whether that other boat is stable or not, whether it has got any leaks in the boat. So of course I don't want to hide the name of the company which I didn't join. They are the top company in India now today, but still I don't have any regrets for not joining them as vice president. Uh, so career building is something which you have to be careful. It's not a position, it's not a salary, it's a company also, and that's how I build my career. And before I close this episode, I want to tell you what is my last hurrah. So the 7 years I worked on this second largest refinery project, I have I got a couple of years to left out before I retire. probably I would have continued. At that time, nobody expected that I would resign and then go back again to the world's largest oil company, join as their consultant. Two things triggered that. Number one was I never felt that if I stay for 2 years in the same company and if I get my double the salary, then within 1 year I can earn that much. That is one logic which I had. The second thing what I was thinking is that once the project is complete, I was actually workless, and then I didn't want to continue idling around till my retirement. So I have taken up that job in Aramco as a last hurrah, and for that I would thank two people. One, Mr. Ganesh, who was in Bahrain. Earlier, he told me that you are CEO stuff. That means you got a material to be a CEO. Though I was not a CEO there, but then it gave me a confidence that this guy has seen the potential of that. There's another gentleman, again I have to thank, one Mr. Gopal. He was the head of the safety and environment. He also said, you are worth a crore rupees per annum. So I never believed that I could get that kind of salary. When I got that offer from Aramco, which I could not refuse, I thank Mr. Gopal, I would say Dr. Gopal, for that. I got to take the offer and I showed it to my mother, because my mother was originally, I was against that I should go take a job abroad. She looked at salary and they said, do they offer these kind of salaries? I said yes. Then he said, okay, you can go for 1 year. So that's how I went for 1 year, my last job before I came back to India and settled down. And I would like to conclude this chapter, the career building now, with this last hurrah. Signing off, Rajsekhar Polapragada.